That's the first one we'll check in on as well. So we have heading the field, Hong Kong Great, returned over the 200 metres as favourite, but beaten though by Silver Fig. He's the course record holder over this trip. Wishful Thinker gets onto the all-weather for the first time as he gets up from the 12 to 1650. King Shield's got speed. He'll jump from barrier number 3. Got Not Usual Talent on the all-weather for the first time. The Rock, who's now third up for the season, switching back to the dirt. Red Desert, all his wins have been over 12 inches so far. Telecom Fighters, very impressive at Happy Valley last time out on the turf. All-weather first time for him as well. And Helene Wisdom Star, Mark, is also hitting the all-weather for the first time on Wednesday night. So, as we have a look at the speed map for this one, good to slow, we're saying, in the early stages then, Mark, with Hong Kong Great and King's Shield in the field. Do you think that would be the case?
Don't know if he's got a slow speed in him, Hong Kong Great. Even if he finds the front, he just likes to get out and run. Telecom Fighters has been versatile. He's shown plenty of speed at Happy Valley, Paul. He's led and also taken a trail. And we know King Shield likes to push up and get on the speed also. Well, King Shield's drawn 3, isn't he? And Hong Kong Great's drawn 4. So I just wonder if he will try and push up on the inside of him, as you say. It's possible. Red Desert's another horse who's led in the past as well. So we'll see if he's keen. Not Usual Talent, Wishful Thinker will get back. That's their normal racing style. Helene Wisdom Star, the other one.
All right, well, there you go. There's an idea of how the map might play out. We'll start off, though, with a likely favourite here, Hong Kong Great, and his jockey, Zach Purton.
Zach, nice to have this horse in on a quiet Wednesday dirt night at Sha Tin, Hong Kong Great.
Yeah, it is. Hopefully he can bounce back to the form he was in the latter half of last season. He had a nice pipe opener over 1200. So yeah, he's back to a course and distance that he enjoys, and we'll see if he's still got it.
You didn't ride first up. What did you make of that run? He's just not a 1200 metre horse?
Correct. It's not his right distance, and he probably wasn't in his comfortable rhythm and zone either. I'm just not quite sure if he's still in the same form as he was at the back of last season. I jumped him out on Monday, and it took us a long time to get him in the gate. I think Danny's AT said it took us 9 minutes to get him in, so he used all his energy. He was exhausted by the time he got in there, and I thought his gallop was okay, but not quite as good as his gallop previously. But whether that's because he'd emptied himself out before we finally got to do some work or not, we'll find out tomorrow. But yeah, so it's good to have him back, and we'll just see how he goes.
Is that a nervous thing or a mental thing with him about the barriers?
Oh, it's a stubborn thing. He's not nervous at all. He's just playing a game. So, once you get him in there, he's fine. And then obviously, once the gate's open, he's good to ride. He's obviously a bit keen, but he's good to ride. Just got to get him in there as quick as we can.
He gets in beautifully this week with the extended rating band too.
Yeah, exactly. The race is there for him, and hopefully we can take advantage of that.
All right, interesting comments then from Zach as far as Hong Kong Great and his recent gallop and stepping up from the 12 to the 1650 now as well. As we have a look at him in action here, Paul, this was the run. He was favourite for this as well, but not his trip, I suppose, at the end of the day.
Yeah, look, it was 1200 metres. He did start quite short, didn't he, in this race? So he was favourite, but he actually drifted out to about 4.1, but he's still the favourite. He ran okay, but the 1650 on a dry all-weather track, I think, is going to suit him down the ground.
Absolutely, and he wasn't quite as quick out as he was against the sprinters. They got him for early speed, so I wouldn't be taking too much notice of that run, and as we know, he's a lot better horse than that.
Okay, well, we can have a look at some of his stats. So over the 1650, 4 goes, Mark, he's won 3 of them, and the other one he was placed as well, finished 3rd.
And went that track record of 1:36.15 at the back end of last preparation. Zach's on board, Paul. He's ridden him twice for 2 wins. If he's anywhere near the horse that we saw last time in, he'll come out and give this race a massive shake.
Yeah, I think the only way that he could be undone is whether these horses in the early part of the race take him on, like the likes of King Shield at all. If they do take him on, then he might just have to use a bit of gas early.
But his best last season, he was just unstoppable in front. But just listening to Zach there, is he the same sort of horse that he was last year? What are his rivals then? What about Wishful Thinker, Paul, switching to the dirt?
This is the key. He's now an 8-year-old and he's coming to the dirt for the first time. Cheek pieces will come off him as well. Look, he generally works well on the surface, so a little bit of an unknown there. Barrier number 2 won't help him because he gets back.
He has trialled on the surface. It was a fair while ago. It was behind Hot King Prawn, so he has looked at least at the surface on a trial. This is behind Lucky Patch. He makes ground down the outside. Didn't have him in. Cheek pieces come off. Jerry Chow takes a a bit of a claim off him as well. But interesting to see Dennis chucking him on the dirt this week.
Yeah, another horse moving on to the all-weather as well is Telecom Fighters after a very impressive win mark at Happy Valley last time.
Yeah, Mitchell's done a really good job with this horse, and he's going to get on the speed as well, but he doesn't need to lead. He can take a trail as well. He's a very fast horse, this guy, Paul, and he's shown that around Happy Valley. He's run good time and time again, and he's belted them up this night.
Yeah, look, I've put him in. Now, I like his breeding for the all-weather by the Brothers War out of an Irish-bred mare, so he works well on the surface. Me Choi does a lot of work with his horses on the surface as well, so yeah, no, I don't mind him.
Okay, another horse that deserves some respect is King Shield. And before Hong Kong Great came along, Paul, he was our sort of dominant all-weather horse, or certainly one of them, getting to the front and dictating.
Yeah, and last season he sort of really went off the boil. Look, he's come out, he's done this trial here. He was pushed out a little bit, I thought, at the end of it. Derek Lung, barrier number 3. You could just see he was just starting to get to work with him late. That's what worried me a little bit.
Had him in on a minor line, a very minor line, because of his good record last season when he was in form, but you're right, he went right off towards the end of it. He's had 3 trials and he has looked okay in them.
It's a very compact market with the 8 runners, Paul, but Hong Kong Greats are even money favourite.
Yeah, look, I've got him on top. I think having that run under his belt and stepping up to 16.50 looks ideal. Horse coming to the surface for the first time is not usual talent. He has won a trial on the wet slow before, and does work really well on the surface, and we know he's a high-class horse. Telecom Fighters again. All these 3 horses in behind have never run on the surface before, but have all worked and trialled well on it, the 4, the 7 and the 8. So I went 1, 4, 7 and 8.
With Hong Kong Great, I think he's just going to be too fast for them, even with the 133 pounds on his back. He's never carried that to win before. 128's the most he's carried to victory, and that was 4 starts ago. He goes on top to beat number 7 Telecom Fighters. He carries an extra 10 pounds on the back of that very good win at Happy Valley last time. Good catch right here for Matthew Chadwick. 5 The Rock goes in, only to the all-weather for the 2nd time. The pacifiers go back on. He has placed on the all-weather off a rating of 90, and King Shield, just in case he can get back to that earlier season form from last time in. 1, 7, 5 and 3.
I got the same cue there as Mark, the 1 and the 7. Just listening to Zach, that has curbed my enthusiasm slightly about Hong Kong Great, but on form, I think he'll take the world of beating here.